And just using that because that visually works in my head, why sunrise is no longer an option for Woodmore? Was
It would
because,
depend on what you're moving to Sunrise. So
Okay.
if you're moving a full day K,
uh-huh,
they would still be eligible for the state funding.
so it's the state,
Half
it's the state funding issue, it wouldn't be a space issue.
It could be. It could be.
Okay,
Yeah, it depends on what you would be moving over and what's
Right.
short at that one school that you're moving the from
Okay.
to.
so I'm trying to give you flexibility.
Yes.
So it's not the trying to offer all-day K with tuition at these schools that's the issue so much as when we take state funding and have all-day K at those schools, that they've got restrictions on
They got
what we can
restrictions
do.
around that,
Okay.
what you can
On who you
move
can
into
move in.
that
Right.
school.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
and so as
make
Mike
sure.
shared, we have to think about moving half-day somewhere else.
Right,
Just to maintain
Right.
the status of state.
You could not move a half-day
K
K
into
there.
that school.
You
From
would then
another school.
disqualify that school for
okay,
state
so it's the
funding.
state funding that's
It
the
is.
issue,
So
it's not
when-
the space.
So
Okay.
when do you have to declare what you're doing?
Well,
I
good,
would like to
perfect.
give you
Let's-
more flexibility,
All right.
less flexibility.
So again, the timeline hasn't changed very much from what we shared with you. So ASAP, we need some direction
Yeah.
in where we're going with this because we need to create that plan, whatever that decision of hybrid, whatever that looked like, and work with instruction around their models. But in November 1st, again, OSPI is doing a survey of, are we going to accept funding from them? But more importantly, there's two things out there that we need to start doing. We really need to start ordering portables if we think we can do this. I mean, we're going through the exercise and we barely met the 2015 timeline and we were first in line for the portables. There's districts this past fall who did not get their portables in place. So I'm not sure exactly what they did to, yeah, I think they had to modify differently. And from speaking to our sort of neighboring districts, they're all trying to get in there first and set the schedule of exactly what we need. On top of that, there's some grant deadlines that we need to apply for to secure some additional funding for us around additional classrooms. And then typically, the big thing is your communication of what are you gonna communicate out to your parent group? And especially if it's a hybrid model, or if it's, we collect in some but not others, what and how we're gonna communicate that out. And then the big thing that we typically track, starting right in January, is the enrollment. We start tracking the enrollment so we know exactly what schools we have to really implement this modification plan or portable plan that we have in place. Okay?
So I will speak up, the hybrid model with maximizing the classrooms on the east side of the district that end up being able to have full-day kindergarten. And whether that's,
Tuition
it doesn't matter to me. I'm not married to either one, I think you can make arguments for both sides of it. But I do agree with everyone is, if we can use that space to make full-day kindergartens, let's maximize it and start the ball rolling. It's only a couple schools.
Okay, so what I have is proceed with some hybrid model, combination of B and E. Ramp up to full day K where that plan would allow, that balances minimizing additional classrooms that are added next year, creating partnership relationships, but there will still be some schools, there'll still be some movement, and then there will still be some schools that will fall out of that mix that will have the capacity to ramp up to full day K. And so we would move forward with those. The question then would be, in those environments, is it tuition, or are we going to apply for and accept the state funding for those schools?
My vote would be to accept state funding for those schools. It's 1 year, moving forward toward a plan.
Here's another question, sorry, Ryan. What if we move kindergartners from Wellington to Bear Creek or East Ridge? And from Kokanee to Wellington? To free up some of that shift in the.
More
They're
movement.
trying
I
to
think
make it
that's,
consistent.
I think that violates a little bit of the principles of B, of trying to keep things as stable and consistent as they are in 16, 17.
Well, I think part of the problem is that you're moving like Kokanee, because this is where my school is, right? So you're moving Kokanee elementary kids over, or kindergartners, I'm sorry, down 228th, down Highway 9, up over Woodinville Duval Road, and at that time in the morning, it's, you're gonna add, parents are gonna be, so we just go to Maywood now, which is already takes extra time, but you're gonna double their commute each way.
Yeah.
The other thing to
Yeah,
consider is
yeah.
all of those
Yeah,
shifts
no, no,
also,
No, I appreciate it, I was just saying from.
That's it.
all of those
Right,
shifts,
that's
all of those shifts also add operational costs as well.
So transportation will be the big,
Yeah.
Just trying to solve that bottleneck.
We already from junior high come over here versus just going a mile away. And that's not a change, that's it's been that way.
So, for me, it makes sense to give you the most flexibility that you have, so that we can. So, I also think it's wise to start adding kindergarten teachers
I
if
do
you
too.
can.
I do too.
So what's your vote?
I'm not really a fan
We have,
of
we have a lot of shifts.
no tuition in East Ridge and Bear Creek and tuition in other places. That's philosophically very, very difficult for me, so.
Do we have any other example that we can think of where we have different fee structures across? Well, I know that usually state funding's identical, so it doesn't matter, but I'm trying to think of a precedent where we might have different fee structures.
Well, I think the part that I'm struggling with, and I'll just put it out there, is in the environment that you and we have created around issues of equity and race and privilege and all of that, the achievement gap, all of that, it's hard for me to accept the idea that we're rewarding privilege, right? And I recognize it's the state
It's
that's done that.
accidental.
The state has set that up, and it's the
Right.
way the, kind of an accidental kind of thing. But what I know I'm gonna hear from principals is the place that needs all-day K, if you wanna close the achievement gap,
Oh, yeah.
No,
the place that needs all-day K is Crystal Springs, and you're not letting them have it because they don't have the room, et cetera. And that's the larger environment that the argument, not the argument, but the messaging is gonna have to occur in, right? Regardless, yes, it's only 1 year, thank God, but that's the environment. It's their 1 year in kindergarten,
that's
right?
true.
It's their 1 year of kindergarten and.
So that's the,
important.
it's just the environment the whole district's in that's making this particularly egregious in my mind.
Well, I think
You forgot, or.
So for me, just to, let me
I mean, you
just,
just forgot the whole reason we have that much capacity. So, I mean, that's a part of it.
Yeah, it is.
so let me just finish my
Yeah.
thought and
Yeah.
say that that is important to me. So either they pay for full-day kindergarten or nobody pays for full-day kindergarten. Doesn't matter to me so much, whatever works for everybody, within whatever works system-wide. I don't want to advantage that community and not make them pay and then make everybody else pay. But I see if we did pay, and I would want to get Lydia's input before I said which way I was leaning, but if we did pay for kindergarten, for the kindergarten in the other schools, we are taking a step towards making it more equitable by opening up the opportunity for students. And I personally like that option, but I don't know if it's feasible monetarily, so that would be
But it would be
a consideration.
opening up the opportunity, but potentially
Decreasing,
reducing
yeah,
the likelihood.
absolutely.
Well,
I understand
it'll make the waiver process much more complicated.
But there's an equity
Oh my God.
issue, reverse, I mean, there's equity issue reversing that too, which she's saying, that I'm agreeing with, is that, you know, well, by charging a fee, we're limiting people.
You don't even have.
I heard
access.
this said at this table, that we're limiting people, and so by opening it
So
up.
open it up to everybody, and then
Right.
make the.
There are still, you know, not to prolong or make the conversation more complicated, but we do still have kids who are scholarshiped into full day K. So it's
Oh,
not a
fair,
100%
We do.
pay or you have no access
Right.
system now.
Well, and I just wanna go on the record as saying, I think all kids deserve full day K.
Yeah,
I don't like the half-day model anyway, so I'm happy to have our whole district at full day K, and I wouldn't wanna restrict opportunity just because you were privileged. The part that's hard for me is the kids that need it most are the ones that are living on the other side of the district, and that's tough.
I think the thing is though, is we all recognize this is whichever way we go, we recognize it's an equity issue and we're doing what we can to get us there and we're moving in that direction. I think that's the whole thing about equity is are we moving somewhere, and by 2017, every child in our district will have it
So,
that wants it.
yeah, so I just wanna,
So,
Okay.
I just wanna kinda come back to the question, so I think, you know, we'll move forward with kind of B and E, try and minimizing the need for new classrooms and maximizing where we can have full day K that fits with that overall plan and minimizing moves and all of that. I think we still need more, I think we need a firm direction and something that you as a board and we as administration with the board can stand behind as far as the question of accepting state funding for full day kindergarten, where we can have it. I'm not comfortable being in a place of this is an administrative decision, and, cause we're gonna get divided, and we're gonna get lobbied, and we're
Do you
gonna,
wanna have a
we're
day I
gonna
can
be.
call the PTAs and ask? Explain the situation. We don't have a day?
No.
No?
You want it now?
Well, I mean, I don't wanna prompt it, but I also, I mean, I think we wanna make a good decision, not necessarily a quick decision, but we do have timelines that are imposing on us.
I think, harkening back to Camp Casey days, that we're gonna, well, I know as much fun as that was, but I think.
I want it back at Camp
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Let's go.
Okay, we're not
Moving
gonna-
forward. Moving
Go.
forward.
Let's try to be.
That I think if we give them, if they still have the option of all-day K, they will, that portion of the community that we're speaking of, they will still be willing to pay for it. Because that was their argument about fifth grade camp, was that we want the option of having it and we're willing to pay for it. And they provided all sorts of options, and you've already heard that, of we will help finance this. So I think we will definitely, certainly have some parents that are gonna be unhappy that they had the potential to have free all-day K and they're not getting it. But I think we can absolutely communicate, we're making it so that all 20 elementary schools have the same situation that they've got right now, and we're keeping that there for 1 year, but you still have the ability to access full-day kindergarten wherever you're at, you just have to pay for it. I think that's a message that, I think that will resonate.
And I think there's a chance, you know, I had a conversation just last spring when kindergarten registration was going on with an East Ridge parent, because they only had 11 kids for that second full day class. There's a possibility there's not gonna be enough enrollment to open up more full day anyways. You know, I was trying to explain to them how, you know, you can't do it with 11 kids. So, you know, but consistency, I think either if we can afford to pay for everyone's full day, or if we charge the same for everyone, I think consistency is important, but I also think it's very important, and I'm willing to take 24 hours and just reach out to the community, since I was having this conversation with them yesterday about, this is what we're faced with, we'd like your input,
Which choice would?
you know?
Also, I think if we're going to charge for full day kindergarten at those two schools, that we can potentially add capacity to for full day, the eastern schools.
I wouldn't say it's just those two schools, it may be more than that.
Okay, that we make sure that kids that are not able to pay, that we make sure we have enough scholarship money. That would be my concern, is that if we charge a fee, now we have you know, and I don't know what our threshold is for how many scholarships we have, but
It's only, typically it's 5 per building.
I think we need to expand that,
Maybe this money can expand.
If
Expand
the state
that
is
if-
funding it.
if we have, 'cause, you know, you might have 20% free reduced lunch at a given building, are we going to be willing to
And we're also,
scholarship those
we
kids?
also
those
have to,
elementary schools, what's their percentage of free and reduced lunch?
But now he was,
Well, but that's the
they're not-
point.
But they're
That's
not
the,
all Microsoft millionaires either.
no, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. I'm saying, but if those are the schools that we're providing free kindergarten at, and we're saying now we wanna charge, and your argument is, well, let's make sure that we're not depriving a child at those
let's
schools.
just make sure we give those kids.
Those
yeah.
kids at those
Mhm.
schools that are now, we're having to charge that it would have been free for. So how many kids are we talking about is what I'm
Depends on
asking.
the school.
Right, but their
Yeah.
percentage, I think, is pretty small, so it may be just a couple kids per school. Is that about what which I'm hearing is about what we're doing anyway?
and
Does
we're
that make
making an
sense?
assumption.
I'm following.
No, at the schools that would have to
Oh,
be,
There isn't a
Yeah.
school that doesn't utilize the scholarships.
okay.
So,
They may
But I
not
get your
utilize
point.
all of them, in which
Right.
case they get redistributed to
Across.
schools of greater demand.
Oh.
So I'm
And
really
we're-
listening to everyone's, you know,
Mhm.
conversation and opinion. I still think if we're gonna offer something the state is funding, we accept state funding for it. And that's what we're doing, essentially, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about charging people, but not accepting the state funding. The state has said that they will fund it in 2016. Then we should accept the funding if we're offering exactly what they're funding, is my opinion.
Even
We-
though it
we heard that.
restricts our options.
Well, no, I'm still interested in the hybrid. I mean, when you have that restriction issue in some of our schools that exist, I think we have to, for 1 year, bite that bullet and move through that, knowing that the next year, we will be able to fulfill what the state will fund and what we can do. And so for the time being in this 1 year, if we're actually offering something at a school and we have capacity, then we should accept the state funding for it and just move forward through the year.
You know, we're talking, or maybe I'm thinking as though everybody's gonna choose full-day kindergarten, and I don't know that that's really the reality.
I agree with
There are
that.
people who
Yeah.
value that
They
time
love
with their
their half-day.
children, and they
There's a lot
love
of
the
people like
half-day,
half-day.
so I don't know that,
You can't accept
because
You have to
you
offer.
can't,
You have to
because you have
offer.
to
You have to
offer it,
offer.
right?
You have to
But you don't have to
offer.
have it.
yeah, you
They
can
can
accept the
define it.
But I
funding
mean,
as
that's
long
gonna-
as it's the parent choice to have half-day.
But they're gonna
Right.
be in a full day class.
They're gonna be in a full day
and they're gonna
class,
leave halfway through.
And they're gonna leave at 11:30.
It's
and
not
we're gonna
gonna
have
be
to
So it's
do
not gonna be a
half-day
different class.
Right.
And you're
That's-
already doing that in some schools, correct?
No.
No,
Oh, I thought you
There's
were.
a-
No, Kenmore and, I'm sorry,
I thought you were already doing that.
Kenmore and Wooden had fewer than 5 kids combined that wanted half-day, so we put them in a half-day program, rather than turn the whole school upside down with, okay, we have to offer literacy and math before 11:30 for
Okay.
5 kids. So there were fewer than 5, if I'm recollecting that, that's right around the number between those two schools that chose half-day as an option.
So what'd you do with them?
They're in
We
a
sent them to
half-day program at every
Arrowhead.
school.
Oh, okay.
Moved
So
them
they
up
went
the
to
hill,
half
or they
day.
moved over to Woodmore.
And
So
did
the
they,
hybrid
and did we
one's
provide
done.
transportation?
What do you need that we haven't given you?
That's what I'm saying.
I still need clarity on the issue of, if we move forward with a hybrid plan and we move forward with full-day kindergarten, where that plan would allow, the question of whether or not we would accept state funding for that, recognizing that we would still have tuition based in other places in the district. I've Dawn very clearly as a yes
I've been
on
really
that. Yep,
transparent and
yep,
clear
nope,
on that. Okay, good.
I've got you down on that.
Hey,
I've got
done my job.
Sandy as a no on that, and the other three I'm not clear on.
I
There you
don't
go.
care.
No, you
I
can't,
do
I'm
care.
sorry, Kimberly, you
You have
cannot
to.
be on that, you
You
can't, you can't take that position.
Okay, then
What
I'll
was
take,
it?
I'll
And I
take,
don't care.
well, I don't mean that I don't care, that was a harsh way to say it, I just, either way, okay,
She
so I
sees
will take
value.
position.
sure.
I see, yes, that's what I meant by that,
I think seeing
Um,
value is understandable on both.
yes.
Absolutely, I understand.
Yeah.
That's what I
it's-
meant.
But he needs direction, and
Okay,
that's,
so.
But if we're going to be a board moving forward, right?
Yes.
she's,
Yeah, I know.
So take the state funding.
Okay, so,
I think I'm 50-50.
and I'm only take state funding if we then pay for it elsewhere.
And I would be willing to do that also.
What does that mean?
That means we absorb the cost of full-day kindergarten at the rest of the schools.
But also offer half-day based
But
on
offer
space.
half day, yeah, and only offer full day kindergarten as capacity allows. So it doesn't change the model.
So that's a,
It
that's a,
only-
that's $1 million, that's $1 million price tag.
That's the only way where it feels palatable to me to take the state funding.
Then you don't wanna take the state funding.
If we're not able to do that and not going to do that, then it would be a no state funding.
I know.
Sorry, I should have gone.
No, that's okay.
Language.
No, I
Shouldn't
wanted you
have
to
put
go
you in that
first.
position,
No,
sorry.
no. I wanted you to go first because,
breaking point. Okay, you need to go first next time.
no, because see, the thing that I'm trying to grapple is I'm still in the back of my brain thinking there's a way that we can accept state funding, but somehow get a school to help even the playing field financially. And, you know, and I was,
Well,
I can't think of I can't, but see,
Because that was mentioned at your table to.
well, I know, and I know it's illegal, that's why I'm still struggling, because I can't think
You
of
have
a
to
way
stay-
that it's
you have
not,
to stay
that,
within the law.
it's
Your
within
decision.
the law, and, you know, it's not
Sorry.
reliant on like a
These
PTA
rules.
pass the hat or something crazy like that.
Big sound.
Isn't that what they said?
Yeah, that's what they kind of offered, but, it's, that's why I'm struggling. So, I have a really hard time passing up state money, because we're just, but
I'm sorry, I
if
didn't
we
realize
could,
you were
if
making
we
a
could,
funding
if we could afford the $1 million, that would be my first
I
option
just
right there,
didn't.
is to not charge anyone.
The decision that we were
So if Lydia comes back and says we don't have that kind of money under the cushions, then,
So I didn't.
I'm sorry, I have a hard time passing up state money.
I still feel like that's,
Okay, so you're making a statement.
that addresses
Yes.
the equity if we were able to.
I don't think there's, yeah, I don't know.
Because
There's
it
not a
opens-
perfect
I don't think
solution to
there's
this.
No, there isn't.
No, it's not.
I can't.
But I appreciated the question about the all half day. I mean, I appreciated the additional scenarios that.
I really do
Because I
too,
really
guys.
feel like it helped advance the conversation
Yes,
for us.
and it helps us to be able
think about it from a
to
different
stand
perspective.
back to
Yeah.
the community, we've looked at all these different options, and here is the best path forward for the most.
So what we'll do is we'll follow up based on the criteria that
Right,
you has
right.
given us. We'll work with construction, we'll
It's just- it's
implement
not
kind of a
based on
hybrid
us.
plan B, and then we'll come back and propose that option back about what schools we can and can't.
And we'll see that when.
It's not.
Give us a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll need a couple weeks.
And there's.
2 to 3 weeks. The
This
facility
is,
side
this
might
is
be
still
good.
going along with what you guys had,
Yep.
was in your,
Yep.
Yeah, it was it was really the
your
funding-
plan,
the
but just
fund-
broadened
funding
it,
issue of-
broadened it
of-
a
of
little.
the whole thing.
Yep. No, that works.
We can ask for.
She'll have to start, I'll call
Yeah, we didn't want
Okay, I have
Thank you.
Well, that's what I'm gonna
Thank
do, I'm gonna